For at least a couple years now, I've been really concerned about Google's involvement in tools that can be used for censorship. As I'm sure many of you know, my original channel is done for, but on it was a video called Hate Speech Spell Checker, where I talked about this article by Eric Schmidt that was published by the New York Times. Seeing a top dog at Alphabet and Google talk about developing a spell checker for hate speech really set me worrying, and I haven't stopped worrying since. So I kept an eye on Conversation AI, a project by Jigsaw, which is a tech incubator at Google's parent company, Alphabet, meant to take advantage of machine learning to develop tools that can be used to automatically moderate platforms, or at least help with the moderation of platforms. And sure enough, this idea has gone from something talked about in the New York Times to a tool anyone can use that was developed using the comment section of the New York Times. You see, Conversation AI has borne fruit in the form of Perspective, an API that developers can use to automatically score comments for toxicity and moderate them as they wish. Now, yeah, it's a tool. It can be used for good or evil. Problem, we know already the people who are going to be using this are fucking evil, or at least fucking suck. Twitter's Jack Dorsey, for example, has said he's looking into the tool. And if you're interested in how it works, you can look into it too now. They have a little demo on their site you can type phrases into and see how the bot scores it. And guess what? It's kinda shit. This dumb bot is taught through people saying whether something's toxic or not, and then it learns to recognize patterns. This means it picks up bias based on who's teaching it and what it's being fed, and it leads to funny comparisons like this. Type in black people and it's 65% similar to comments people said were toxic. Jewish people, only 32% similar. That's much more pleasant. It's also showing us how easy it is to bypass. Just be more wordy. Say horrendous, horrific things in roundabout ways and it won't pick it up because it's not similar to what it's been trained on. Of course, it will eventually recognize phrases like these, but then people will change again, and then the bot will have to catch up, and then people will change again, and it's just ridiculous. It sucks. And if platforms start using this the same way they use all the other sorts of tools like this, the internet's just going to get even worse. Yeah, that's right, I'm saying Twitter's filtering could get worse. Be afraid. Be very afraid. So part of why this video is called the Google Gag is because of this tool that can be used to gag people, and I have no doubt that is how it will be used, even though it could be used in nicer ways. But there's another reason. There's something I've been quite worried about for a while now, and I'm going to have to bring up our favorite social media site, Candid, again. If you don't know about it, this site has a bot that works in a very, very similar way. It scores comments based on a sort of attack scale, and then if it's too high, the comment gets filtered out. Basically how any bot like this would work. Tons of YouTubers have been endorsing this website and accepting sponsorship from this company. Mostly just huge YouTubers who do silly stuff, but also lots of free speech advocates, anti-social justice-y people, and folks like that. Now, thanks to Baring bringing it up in a livestream, and thanks to Edgy Sphinx leaking a basic contract, we know that the standard terms of doing one of these sponsored videos involve agreeing to a non-disparagement clause. It looks like this and says that the person making the ad will not take any action which could reasonably be expected to adversely affect the personal or professional reputation of the service or any of its directors, officers, agents, or employees. So you can't shit on them or their work. Why have I brought this up when I'm talking about something Google is putting out there and trying to spread around different websites, getting them to use it to help moderate their comments? Is it just because it's similar to Candid's bot? No. Who are MyLike's employees, the people protected by this non-disparagement clause? I'm gonna let the CEO of MyLikes tell you.
And our whole goal is to be more scientific about the whole thing. Like you just mentioned, I'm from Google, and 90% of employees on MyLikes are from Google. And they're all Google engineers and some of my co-founder is actually the tech lead for AdSense, was the tech lead for AdSense.
Folks, do you get why this concerns me? These dozens of YouTubers have signed a contract that says they can't affect the professional reputation of Google engineers. Now I have to wonder, if someone isn't talking about this new Perspective API, are they not talking about it because they're scared because they've signed this contract? If they talk about it, I have to think, are they being less harsh than they would normally be because they've signed this contract and they're scared of what the consequences might be if they cause too much damage or something? Are they being less harsh, or are they not talking about it because their buddies are stuck in a contract like this? This is the second reason I called this video the Google Gag. And it's why, if you think this is a serious issue, or if you think it will become one soon, you gotta consider that it might be up to you to get it out there. It might be up to you to spread the word. Because the way things are today, who knows what voice has been compromised and how. If you think this is something that shouldn't be ignored, it's your job to make it unignorable. Force people to pay attention to Perspective, Google's new anti-hate speech safety tool. Anyway, there's your food for thought packed into the first chunk of the video. Let's talk in a bit more chilled way now. Part of why I get so worked up and worried about this is because it's not just private companies making dumb decisions in the pursuit of future profits. Government is, of course, involved in trying to stick its authoritarian cock into every conversation you have. Remember this that's on screen now from last year? Yeah. I don't like it, and I especially don't like that beyond just removing stuff, it also calls upon these companies to provide counter-narratives. That scares me, for real, because it justifies these companies doing so much, and they can just say, oh, government requirement, we agreed with the government, it's for your good. They can also, of course, implement some filtering and lie. They can say, oh, it's this Google bot, it's really good, but then also have a separate filter to tweak things the way they personally want. So people will be less questioning. Oh, it's just that Google bot making a mistake. Every website uses it, it's just normal. It's how things are. I think we've already gone way too far with filtering from above, without any fucking transparency being the norm. I don't want it to go any further. I'm just imagining seeing these companies going, oh, we use this Google thing, it's open source, look how transparent we are. And people falling for it and not realizing, well, that doesn't mean you can see everything this fucking company's doing. I'm sorry, but based on the history of social media and all the fuckery involved in it, I'm not inclined to trust anyone involved with it. Not gonna happen. The thing they really need to do is figure out how to build up trust again, if they're gonna implement any more of this shit. Because it's either gonna end up badly for them, when people get pissed off enough about it to fuck them over, to really leave, to really migrate, or to do something. At the moment, that's hard because the main draw of these platforms is the people there, so it's really hard to shift. And if people shift just because they're annoyed because the service goes to shit and they haven't thought about why and what's happening, it will just end up with a repeat. It'll happen again. Or it's going to end up really badly for us, and they're going to get too good at filtering, and we're going to be too comfortable to do anything. What I'd like to see is Jigsaw putting out a piece, putting out an article talking about top-down moderation versus people filtering things for themselves. Talking about how their tool can be used differently to how most platforms moderate at the moment. How it could be used for individuals to decide, hey, anything above a certain threshold I don't want to see, but I'm not going to force everyone else to not see that if they want to open it up, even if that's a mistake and it's just someone saying dumb shit. I want to see the people in the places with the power to influence having this discussion, because maybe I'm missing it. Maybe it's been filtered out of my view, but it doesn't look like they are. Where's the talk about maybe use this to have a threshold for the site trying to catch and get rid of illegal stuff, but then leaving everything else up to each individual to filter out for themselves? You know, let me say, I'm happy to see everything up to and including 100 toxicity, or I think 70 is my cutoff, because I've noticed everything above 70 tends to be a bit spammy. Where's that talk? I want to see some talk like that from the fucks making all these digital blindfolds to cover my and your eyes with, please. But, as usual, that's just another one of my harmful opinions.